just like we gotta let's be real here. Oh no, don't end the broadcast. That's not what I was trying to do. Okay, there. Oh, I almost ended it before it started.
Deep fried, no brains.
Yeah, deep fried.
Oh, I forgot to open
cheers?
up Wait.
Cheers. Yeah.
Cheers. Cheers. I have beverage of the alcoholic variety. There we go. One glass of wine.
One bottle of wine.
One bottle of wine. It's the nice thing about these glasses; they hold quite a lot.
We lost her again.
Oh no, Carlin's in the network free zone.
No, CJ, Carlin was not missing. She just turned into a tree. And so she was there. But trees have notoriously bad Wi-Fi signals.
Turns out. Except those cool fake trees that are actually cell towers.
Yeah. Yep, that's true. Hi, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Leave no
ends behind.
Carlin is
not the marijuana Reddit.
This is not the ent that you are looking for. Hi, Kurt.
Oh.
We are having, it's one of those shows. Oh, it really is one of those shows.
I'm not entirely sure I didn't just pour mold drink.
Oh, Carlin, drink just a beer or something.
Last time you checked, did you have mold in it?
No, I drank it just a few days ago.
Yeah, it's fine then. I'm sure. It was just bubbles. Yeah. I'm sure it's just bubbles.
Oh, thank goodness for Carlin. Thank goodness she turned back from a tree and found her Wi-Fi.
Tree-based Carlin.
That's the problem. She's usually very calm and peaceful as a tree, but her internet is shit. So she has to go human.
Turns out hard to post on Reddit when you're a tree. Not enough phalanges. Or maybe it's too many.
Too many.
No, too many. I mean, they think about ends and all the reaches.
Trees don't have tendons.
Oh, no, but they do use hydraulic pressure in order to move. Some of them more passively than others.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
They don't need your tendons.
Now I want a hydraulic tree.
Every tree is a hydraulic tree.
No, but I want one that uses like what we're thinking of when we think hydraulic. I want freaking pumps and I want a tree that moves around like kind of like a dancing Groot, but hydraulic.
Oh, this reminds me of a topic I was just thinking about today.
What's the topic you were just thinking about today, Todd?
I will post a link. This episode of Deep Fried Neurons is brought to you by Hyperbolic Tree. Hyperbolic Tree, it's a way of representing an infinite amount of information in a circle.
Can you cast it for us too?
Don't know. Can I?
Infinite. Probably. You've been casting stuff for. Should I put that up again? Here.
There we go. I think I'm sharing my screen.
You are. There we go.
All right. So this is you've got a tree structure of data. You want to represent it in a way that shows all of it, but that's hard because things get tiny. So if you basically zoom in on a certain section of the tree and then hyperbolically like fade away the other parts, then you get these cool transformations where you can show all the data in a way that is sort of focused on the point of interest that you're concerned about.
That's what the art show should look like, right there.
There are some computer interfaces that tried to do something like that because, there's instead of a list of lists that the standard sort of menu system has. Yes. You have lots of bowls, then you should be a hyperbowl.
So what are we drinking?
Confused with hypervol.
What are we drinking?
I'm drinking a vegan wine called Oxte. No clue how to spell it.
Oxty?
Oxte. It's a blend from Spain of Tempranillo and Syrah and Grenache. So, ooh.
Nice. Is it good?
It's pretty good. Yeah, from Trader Joe's. It's pretty cheap too. It's like $8 or something.
Does it have a screw top?
It is not, but it's empty now, the bottle, so I won't have to. I don't worry about spilling this on my computer.
It has lots of colors on the label.
Yes, it's a good gradient.
Yeah.
Gradient.
How about you, Carlin?
Ooh, I could make that as a palette on the tree.
What kind of mold would you drink in?
Okay, I am drinking vodka. This is a LA distillery.
That's gin, isn't it?
No, I have not cracked open the gin that I got for Christmas. I got beautiful gin from Christmas for Todd. This I bought earlier in the year.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Should I get the beautiful gin that you got me?
Nope.
Okay.
I was just confused about the
beautiful
bottles.
gin when you crack into it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful gin. Although they have really apparently amazing smelling hand sanitizer, so maybe I will show it now.
The gin has good smelling hand sanitizer?
So
The company that makes, yeah.
we didn't get any of the hand sanitizer, but I bought my some relatives some of their hand sanitizer for Christmas. And apparently they love it. They love it. So
Oh, really? Excellent. And you can drink it. It's made of ethanol, not isopropyl.
I did buy it.
And anything other than the vodka is sort of incidental. It's pretty plain. It's the rest of apparently Todd's pomegranate juice, which he's not going to be happy about that I drank the rest of it.
Oh, I'm going to add that to the shopping cart.
And so the last of the Trader Joe's sparkling orange mineral water.
We're just running out of everything in the house, aren't we?
Starting to. Yeah. I will be making another one without the sparkling mineral water or the pomegranate juice. So
just rum, just vodka.
That's a good mix.
Yeah, been a week.
It has been. Yeah, we were saying the same thing earlier.
What should we do our things for existing first? Oh yes, sorry. I'm just like go ahead.
Okay. I'm drinking beer. I'm drinking the same beer. I think I had Stella last time.
You did.
I am actually I mentioned this before we went on the stream. I actually have 2 of the same beer right now, which was not a given.
Double Stella.
Yeah, I usually go for 2.
I like Stella. It's good.
Stella's good. I wasn't sure if I did because I am not prepared with different kinds of beers. And right now I don't give a flying fuck. So there's that.
This could be beer.
So do you want to where do you want to start with? Todd wants to make antlers for us. Hang on.
I think we should start with things for existing because I think apparently I really need that in this moment. Who wants to go first?
Got it.
Carlin should go first.
Okay. Okay, sure.
Or just say thankful for Twitter.
No. Although share screen. I am going to start with a tweet. There's a woman that I follow on Twitter who is actually it's sort of a CSS goddess. She's like really, if you ever want to learn more about CSS, she is amazing and has a lot of really great resources. But she did someone that has made me join TikTok, and I joined TikTok just to follow this person.
You actually joined TikTok.
TikTok, I know, like not logged in. Will you get volume from me?
I don't think so unless you do.
If you turn up your sound, it should feedback through the mic, maybe. And I don't know.
Yeah, it might do that. Try that.
All right, so we'll try that. But
looks like Warnock and off from the race. So this song goes out to all the Trump supporters. Hashtag sorry for the slam. I know that you're upset. I just wish I gave a damn. So long, bitch. So long, trouble. Pack your bags. On the trouble. Take the floor. Escape the dawn. Can't wait to see it gone. Insurrection made you fail. The red hot's running well. And no, I wouldn't want it any other way.
anyway,
Smiling on my face.
so, that's a Melissa Etheridge song. Yes. I'm a bitch. I'm a mother. I'm a child. I'm a lover. I don't know. I'm a saint. I'm everything you. Anyway, so I Meredith Brooks. Thank you so much. Anyway, so I was so deeply satisfied. Given how much joy stealing that conservatives like to do, I find him so joyful to listen to. And then this is another one. There's like a ton of them. He's so amazing.
This is what I'm doing with my night.
This man is my hero. This man is my hero. He's like helping me, like, for all the literal shit they are smearing on the floors of the Capitol. I mean, not just at this point, but like literal shit they are rubbing on the floors of the Capitol. Like, you know what? Fuck you. Biden is our president, and Kamala is our VP. And suck it. And yeah. Darkness is not gonna win this month. Anyway, so thanks for existing.
One black man's opinion.
Michael J. One black man's opinion. So join TikTok just to follow him.
That's excellent.
That's what I'm doing with my Friday evening after this.
I know. I need to put it on the weekend. Yeah, because it's the perfect mix of like my era of like, you know, college age music and anchor and just like that I need right now. So.
Yeah, just listening to both of those those covers he did, made me totally do a like half an hour dive into YouTube on both of those songs and like the last one was a Cars, the first Cars song that actually made it like popular. It's on their debut album, and that came out in '78. Which I always thought of the Cars as very, very much an '80s band, but they were doing stuff that to me seemed like stuff that would be in like in '84. They're doing in '78. So yeah, go Cars.
Go Cars.
Go Cars.
Beep beep.
Beep beep. All right, do you have something, Barb, or should I go next?
Why don't you go next?
All right, so I think my thing, which I'm struggling to find something, but I just, right before the show, I try to listen to Scott Shawcroft's, he's the head developer for CircuitPython for Adafruit. He has a weekly deep dive where he talks about the internals of CircuitPython and how it all works and works through problems like bugs and stuff like this. But for this episode, he did sort of a nostalgia tour of like every year they try to do what we want to accomplish in the next year. And so this was what are we going to do with CircuitPython in 2021? And they went back and kind of looked at the similar documents that they'd made in past years. And it was really cool to see how far CircuitPython has gone in just 3 years, really. And for anyone who doesn't know, CircuitPython is a Python that runs on microcontrollers, kind of like Arduino, but it's all Python. And it's just gotten so big, and it's all a big community effort. It's still mostly like done by Adafruit people, but I don't know. It's just on like it's just there's so many different features now. There's so many different boards that it works on. And it's a really hard problem to make this sort of stuff work on tiny computers. And so I'm thankful for CircuitPython, I guess, is my thing. And I guess the link I can post is circuitpython.org. This is like the main thing.
I forgot to highlight
but the thing that started all this is that there's currently if there are things that you want to do with CircuitPython, they're eliciting people to submit posts. And oops, when the thing go away, to basically say like if you're working on CircuitPython and you want to do things to it or with it, write up a post, tag it with CircuitPython 2021, and it'll go into the list of things to consider by the people who do the most on CircuitPython. So I think that's pretty cool to see all these people working together towards a common goal to make cool things happen.
There you go. Cool.
Yeah. How about you, Barb?
Well, let's see. Find back here. Well, one thing I forgot to highlight this. So, link for the videos that Kylan showed is down there. Go to there. Okay.
Oh, you sounded just like something out of Portal. When you were saying
like the computer.
It's the computer, just like.
Or the like, oh no, I am dead. Like the little robots that you go around killing in Portal. Like the way you've been, just the arcadist there was like,
Oh no.
musical, like trippingly musical.
Trippingly musical. That's my favorite. I like that. I'm on board with that. Trippingly musical. My thanks for existing is a person and something they did this week and something they do every week, but mostly this week is Amy Bauer of Amy Bauer Designs, who I am fortunate enough to work with, and who is coordinating the art show with me. And she does all of this really cool wearable art and lots and lots of creative reuse. And she just uses pretty much just like, she loves like using trash just all the time to make stuff. And she did I did a talk for the library this week. She did a talk for the library this week, and it was excellent. And she kind of talked and she showed some of her artwork and her wearable things, including this, which is made out of toilet paper. It is a cape made out of toilet paper.
Excellent.
Sewed with a sewing machine. It was very impressive. Yeah. And she had that at the Fun a Day thing last year. She's yarn bombed poles with sweaters as part of it, which is pretty excellent. She made this fascinator out of recycled materials, and it's basically that's like a fish tank. There's a little fish in there. Not like a live fish, but it's a fish tank fascinator. Yeah. It's pretty great. And yeah, so she did this whole talk, and then kind of like walking through like, hey, here's some ways of making your own fascinator out of junk from around the home. And it was pretty great. And here, let me throw this link into the chat.
Yeah.
She also has. Sign. Why is this not? Is that? I think that's it. Yeah. She's got a webpage that has lots of stuff, and she is the one who came up with this this show that I co-host with her on Saturdays at 2:00 called Amy's Art Cabaret. And you should watch it. Amy is pretty great. And that is my thanks for existing.
Excellent. That is excellent. I am so, well, I think that's a perfect actually roll into what we're doing this week, because in this month, because you're working on the art show, but you're working on the art show.
That's true.
Dinner. And why don't you lead us off?
Okay. Here, let me pull up this page. So yeah, we decided. I was talking with the aforementioned Amy. Yeah, about because she runs a annual art show thing called Fun a Day LA, which is an offshoot of an original one set up just by some artists in Philadelphia, I believe, who said, okay, let's make this effectively it's Inktober, but for or like any one of those month-long things, but it's January, and for artists, or like doesn't have to be capital A artists. So anybody can kind of make whatever they want, and the idea is do something every day in the month of January, and then there's an art show afterwards. And she's done this every year for a while, and I've been part of it for at least several years. I've participated, and it was pretty cool. She's actually the only one who had a show this last year, because she did it like right at the beginning of February, just before everything hit. And then this year rolls around, and she's like, we want to do this show, but it's going to have to be virtual, and I'm not quite sure exactly how to make that happen. And then in the meantime, I, over Crashwise, am thinking we need to do something. We've been needing to do another art show because we did one in person. And I'm like, we need to have an art show happening. And it's like, this seems like a good opportunity for us to team up and have, a group, collaboration between different organizations to make an art show happen. So we decided to, when conference happens. We decided to name it ART.HAPPENS, ART.HAPPENS, and it's happening. Hopefully, no, it's happening, yeah. So our project for the month of January, because this is, oh yes, we should totally make swag. That would be excellent. I am so on board. Okay, sorry. .HAPPENS. That would be awesome if there was a .HAPPENS. I'd love that. No, I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Art show. We're doing an art show.
It's great. No, but it's beyond that, Barb. You're building a virtual space, like a community. Yeah.
We're working on. Yeah. There's the idea behind this is to try to find virtual versions of as much as we can of the gallery show experience, which includes, being able to interact with other artists in the run-up to the event, which includes, having, being able to interact with people, just kind of serendipitously bumping into folks, and being able to look at things together and talk about them as you see them at the same time. And, additionally, things like having food and drinks and, being able to move around a space. So we've kind of, come up with, we're doing it through gather.town. And my project for the month for Deep Fried Neurons is making is kind of designing the background spaces for this. And I have not done a terribly good job at preparing my documents for this.
That's fine. If you open the
Where's your slide deck?
I know. If you open that blog post, they're there, so you can.
Did you get your PowerPoint?
That's
what about the transition?
She did. She did a great job. She sent me the.
You have the builds.
Yeah.
I'm the one who did this shitty job of preparing for this week.
Can you export that to Keynote format?
There'll be links at some point.
We don't have to be. Yeah. We don't have to be angsty with each other here. Okay. Oh.
Hey, documents.
Documentation. So yeah. So kind of the interesting thing for me this month is doing some drawing stuff and making backgrounds that are immediately in the immediate something that's simple enough to be just kind of not in the way, but appealing enough visually, and then later be able to add stuff onto it, both my own and other people's stuff. And so the idea is to have it I'm inspired by role-playing game battle maps online. I'm spending quite a bit of time in these days, being virtual with our D&D game. And this is especially inspired by I don't even know. Did I show 2-minute tabletop before? I feel like I might have.
I know you've shown it to us,
maybe,
but I think it.
Yeah, maybe just to us. Yeah.
Okay. 2-minute tabletop. This is a guy named Ross in Australia, and he makes pretty excellent battle map imagery and assets and such. And I love this stuff, and it's really useful. And I use this a lot in my D&D games. And so I kind of am going a little bit off of this sort of style to and I initially started with some of his graphics, and then I made my own versions of it, because it's got to be, not a dungeon. It should be actually a modernish gallery. So, yeah.
Why not both?
There could very well be.
Welcome to the pleasure dungeon.
No, hold on. I had to put a pin in that. You could be both. And say everyone should be watching The Expanse. Just
because it's a pleasure dungeon.
No, there's a beautiful moment where a character in that show said, "You could be both," and never mind. This was a heavy pour of vodka. Ignore me. Keep going.
It's tickling some neurons because we just watched this together.
Yeah. If you don't remember, and we're distracting from Barb's amazing thing, I'll tell you later. We'll put a pin in this, and we'll.
I don't know. I don't have like a real strong presentation behind all of this anyway.
No, but you do. I mean, I think it's so wonderful in a world where so many people are trying to fracture people and create divisions. You're building a place with love and care that people can come together. And I am a much worse person than you, and I think it's good.
Don't make me cry, Carlin.
I made myself cry. So.
Carlin's crying. Carlin's schmoopy.
I'm not a movie. I'm a little schmoopy tonight. I'm a little emotional. It's been an emotional week.
Yeah, it's been an emotional everything. It's one of those. This is not like nobody's. Whatever. So
it's the little gestures that are gorgeous. It's the small capillary meshes that are what really hold us together. And you're really trying to make a place where people can encounter each other over joyful topics, which is in short supply. And I think it's wonderful. So,
I wasn't going to get all like that about it. I was just going to say that I've been learning how to do tiling and about Photoshop brushes, like how to make tileable backgrounds.
Tiles are cool. Tessellations, man. They're awesome.
I know.
I did some of that for the 8-bit, when we did 8-bit stuff. Revisited. I was really good at that back in the back in the 90s for backgrounds for websites. I was like really good at making tiles.
It's like this. I did not design this whole damn thing. This is, a bunch of tiles. Actually, how many is this?
1, 2, 3.
Probably like 16 in there, but it's not like obvious.
Yeah, it's good. That's a good.
Plus, you're zoomed in, so whatever.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So I am enjoying the drawing of all of these things and then playing with them and like messing around with the colors and all of that. And after I get through like some of the basic stuff like doors and shit, I'll get a little bit more interesting. But there are some folks who are actually designing their own whole rooms and doing like all of that for their thing for the art show, which is going to be very exciting to see.
That's very cool. I'm really glad I'm not wearing mascara.
I'm intentionally not wearing mascara.
I'm
very on purpose not wearing mascara.
I just wear mascara in different areas. On my fingers, so I can smudge everything.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll go next, so Carlin can go last. So I'm going to share a screen, probably. Yes, I will share a screen, and it will be a application window of this kind. And this is actually I didn't do anything this week. For reasons, part of because like potentially the world is ending, partly because I was playing a video game for most of it. So I'm instead going to talk about what I did last week, or maybe even 2 weeks ago, that helped enable us do stuff going forward. And this is a DIY NeoPixel dev kit. And so if you ever buy LEDs in like these reels, you'll know that they always come with these little weird connectors on them. And they're these 3-pin JST connectors. And I decided I've never used these. Normally I just unsolder them and put my own stupid connectors on them, like just header pins or whatever. But so instead, I decided to actually use the connectors. Nope, off me, back on this. Nope, off me, back off. No, there you go. No, put the screen back up.
Wait.
No, Todd too big. There we go.
Okay, fine.
All right. So these 3-pin JST connectors. Does that actually translate? Yeah, it does. I'll move over to the strip here. I don't really have a good sideways view, but basically it's 3 pins, power, data, ground. And so I made a bunch of little adapters to let us go from, like, in this case, this goes from the crazy connector to 3 header pins. And down here, this is the actual LED strip that's on our tree. This is actually literally going off to our tree. With the appropriate connector. This is the original controller that came with the LED strip, wired with the correct connector, so we could like plug everything back in and have it all work the way it came. And then this thing in the middle is essentially just an extension cable that has a power injector, so you can then add a beefier power supply in case your USB can't supply the power. And then up here, this is a 5-volt power supply, which you're all familiar with. I find it. Pro life tip: get a silver Sharpie, write the voltage in silver Sharpie on all your black power adapter things. Makes things so much faster when you're like digging through your box of power adapters. And then this is a little USB power meter, which is super handy. I can't really show you that though. It's really super handy to tell you how much power your particular algorithm is drawing. And then this is one of the cheapest Arduinos. This is a 5-volt Arduino micro clone that can run fast LED quite nicely. It's sort of like an Arduino Uno in terms of its capabilities, but it's 5 volts and it's USB native, and they're damn cheap. They're like $3 each. And so this entirety of a thing is our USB DIY dev kit that we can like easily swap in different microcontrollers, different strips, that kind of stuff. And most of this is all hooked up currently to the tree, which is why I'm showing you a photo of it instead of the actual thing. But this is something I've been kind of wanting to do for a long time, because all these LED strips come with this, and I always just take apart these connectors, and I've got a big bag of them from over the several years. So that's what I did. Not this week, but maybe for this week. I'm calling for this week. It was really done 2 weeks ago or a week ago. I don't even know. Time doesn't make any sense anymore. Carlin, you're next.
Well, as I say, I'm just not making this anymore. It's been like it's still 2021. Isn't this year over already?
No, this is March 700.
It's still, it really is. Actually, I mean, to be totally honest, when the election happened, I really didn't feel like it was going to be over until the inauguration. So I haven't really.
True that.
Yeah. So it is what it is. We are where we are. So, which is a threat to democracy that has been ignored for almost 100 years, but it's okay. So.
Here, wait, I can do it.
I'm sharing the blog post.
Okay.
Is that me?
No, that's this.
Oh, it's beautiful. Tibetan singing gold. Really makes me
That's lovely.
My favorite quote, actually, from Twitter this week, was someone talking about white supremacy, and this matters because Todd made the singing bowl on his thing, and this made me think of it. And this woman's, she was talking about the conduct of like how to interact with white supremacists, and she made the comment that you can't wake up someone who's pretending to be sleeping. and the degree that so many of these liars hide behind lies. They say the lie, knowing that it will engage you, knowing that it will upset you, knowing that they're lying, but knowing that that lie is good cover and that you can't prove that they don't believe it. So the whole concept of like understanding that when you're engaging with someone, potentially, that you cannot wake someone who is pretending to be sleeping is a really interesting way to sort of like understand how to reframe your own behavior towards that situation. And I thought it was an incredibly useful statement. Anyway, Todd's Tibetan bowl thingy made me think of that. So I, since I started dating like an LED god, I've mostly stayed away from like LED projects. And honestly, I was looking at it and I realized that I haven't done any significant LED store projects since like 2009, HL 1606 days. Yeah, it's my like blog post from 2009. It's been a while, and so there's a lot has changed in the controlling.
Carlin's got a blog.
Oh yeah, which she never updates, so don't bother. And it's like lifting up the code. So old. Anyway, so this was like 10 years ago. LED strips. Woo-hoo. So yeah.
Hey, wait, I have some of that right here.
I know things are different now. Like you have to put your own last pin. Like things are different now. And one of the ways they're different now, kind of really encouraged me to look into the Fast LED library, which he's been talking to me about for a very long time. And but there's an excellent YouTube series. Scott Marley made a great getting started series.
I'm Rex Moore with the
sorry, I have ads on YouTube.
That's not Scott Marley.
No, that's not Scott Marley. There's a wonderful playlist. I highly recommend it. He's a brisk YouTuber video, and it makes me very happy.
And he's English.
He's English, and he's also there's not a lot of fluff, and he just like keeps going. So I really appreciated these videos. They are getting started with Fast LED. They are not getting started with Arduino, or getting started with LEDs, or getting started with anything else. They are getting started with Fast LED specifically.
They assume understanding of.
They assume a lot of other understanding first. And so at the beginning of the week, I was digging around with stuff on our trees, and part of why I was not here for the first minute of the broadcast was I was trying to broadcast from in front of our tree so I could show you some of those patterns because I was too wrapped up in the potential threat to our democracy to take video this week. So based on his examples, I did do a red, green, and white palette. It's a very this is the gradient palette. This is the color. So that's the red, and that's the white, and that's the green that I'm using. And this is the position of transition between 0 and 255 on the linear gradient. What you'll note is that my white is actually quite a bit off white. It's a very warm white, which seemed much more appropriate to me on the tree than the bright white. This turned out nicely. This is a really lovely like fade between all of these colors. But one of the things that I had really wanted from the beginning was a sort of more twinkling effect. And there is in Fast LED, like this is actually not the right function. I just like was like, what's it called? I don't know. It's fade to black, whatever. Like, need to update my section of this blog post. Thank you, Town and Bar, for sending me the information early, and well done. Mine is like not up to your standards this week. So So there's a function that's like maybe fade to black. I think it's fade to black in fast LED. But what happens is when you dim something like the red that I use, so my white has a great deal more red in it than either green or blue. So when you get close to 0 in terms of its color, it's just red. And our eyes pick up red very well. And so there's this like pop of red. And this happens with a lot of warm whites, a lot of like yellows and oranges. So it's tricky if you want to develop an actual algorithm that goes from a color to black, how to do that correctly with the relationship between what the technology can do, what a doped LED will do versus also, and then what the actual optical receivers in our retina will do. It's an interesting field. It's cool. So it's fun. But that wasn't working out for me, and so I moved to something called Twinkle Fox, which is not how you spell Twinkle Fox. But if you install the Fast LED library, you get this example, and I'll load that up in a second. The Twinkle Fox example uses a palette like this. It's a 16 number palette. And so I needed to be able to see what the colors were in my palettes as I was setting them up. So I wrote this utility code so I can just load a palette using Fast LED. This is an example. So you have a palette. You load the palette into your holder variable. And all of mine is in the setup for this example because I wasn't trying to change things anymore. And it provides you a place to go ahead and use the Fast LED way to change the color, temperature. And it just like walks through, and for the length of your strip, repeats the palette a few times. There are some things that I wanted to do with this. I wanted to add a call to red, a call to green, and a call to blue at the beginning of each of these because some strips are, as you see at the beginning, some strips are RGB, gRGB. I think actually, Todd, you can speak to this more than me about the different pin arrangements of these different strips. And I'll ask you to do that in a minute. But this was I kind of enjoy writing utility codes, little tools. And so this was the beginning of the little tool that I wanted to write, and I was going to build hardware and blah, blah, blah. But you know. People getting killed on our Capitol. Kind of.
But they need LEDs too.
You know. Drink. Oh,
That's a gift.
in LA every like every 8 minutes. COVID-19, like 11, 20, 21. Anyway, so I'm gonna stop sharing this screen and share instead Arduino. We'll do Arduino. Well, no, I don't this so I was trying to do something that would look like little candles flickering on every LED. This doesn't quite do that. It's sort of like a candlelight palette, but it's not quite right. It's not quite right. I was working on it when it happened, but
it gets close.
Well, thank you. But this is so this is an edited version of you can't see it. If you go to file examples, and then go down to the Fast LED examples, there's one called Twinkle Fox, all one word, camel case. Or here it is, actually, that's what it looks like. And they do the nice setup at the beginning where you can tell the number of LEDs on your strip, the LED type, the LED order, what the data pin is. We're not using the clock pin in this example. And then they go on to do the thing that the other code wasn't doing, where you can limit the maximum current to what the voltage is. So it's a really thoughtful library, and it's really educational. And he did some like really fancy stuff down here for me in terms of like how he really controls things. And so I don't entirely understand this example yet, and I'd like to. But one of the most important things he does for me is somehow he gets around that fade via red problem. When this is set to 1, you get that little red pop every time a white color or a lot of the warm colors that I'm using that aren't red. Cool like incandescent is set to 0 false. When you set it to 1, it does do the same pop that fade through black does. And we did, I mean, it's a very reasonable thing for fade through black to do. It's just incrementing each value, the R, G, and the B value in equal measure. If you go look at the best LED library code. But something special is going on here where it doesn't do that. And so that's nice. And that is what I would recommend. The other thing that they do, which is really interesting, is that you can choose a color other than black. So if you look at my candlelight palette, these are some of the built-in palettes. That's one of my white palettes. I did like every named white. They have like a lot of named whites, which I appreciate.
There's a bunch of named whites this week.
I was not ready with an accurate, like.
As a photo major who worked a lot in black and white photography, like the different like shades of gray, anyway.
I have the park, Todd. Oh,
we have
okay.
Todd and I have a long-standing conversation about paint colors and wall colors, and so I'll bring home palettes of whites, and he's like, "What? They're all white." And he's like, "He has a point." Yeah. Anyway. That's beautiful. Let's do this. Yes. Let's name some of them. There's the actual initial colors are actually like a purple color. So it's trying to sort of evoke the that blue color that happens at the beginning at the base of a flame. And it was interestingly enough, when depending on what color correction you use, the desert does not show up as a blue. So I don't have everything dialed in quite right. But anyway, so I recommend Twinkle Fox. And so what Twinkle Fox does which I didn't say and I should have said, it's just sort of like sets a random speed for every LED, and then it draws it down to black, draws it down to black, draws it down to black, or whatever initial color you choose in the palette. And so it's a nice sparkly, dynamic thing to put on your tree. And I wish, should I try? I'll try. Hold on.
See, it would be really cool to see.
I'll stay in the kitchen, though. I'll stay in the kitchen. See if we can see it from the... Oh, except for the fact it's not. Hold on.
Is it not?
It's not currently sparkling because it's not currently in the power.
You unplugged it.
So I unplugged it. Let's try that.
Cute. Sparkles. We need some sparklings. Definitely need some sparklings. Sparkles. I am dead. What does the thing do?
Apparently nothing.
Important. Uh-oh. No, wait. We lost her. We lost her. Oh, there. Wait.
All right. How much of any of that did you see?
Nothing.
We saw solid lights.
Oh,
Yeah.
like I wonder if it's actually plugging in the Arduino that kills my internet. It happened as soon as I plugged in the USB. People, hold on. Hold on.
Could be. Yeah.
Are we gonna find out? We're gonna test. We'll find out. Ba-da-bum-bum-boom. I've been doing
Live demos. Never will.
live demos. That's okay. And in the meantime, oh.
Yay!
Oh, sparkles. Oh wait, here, wait. Let's go big. Let's go full screen. Yay!
Get closer.
Oh, okay, let's see. Maybe I can now.
Oh.
Pretty.
Oh, these are pretty.
I like them. They're nice. Let's just leave it on this for the next 3 years. Yeah. Let's just keep this up. It's not a real tree, right? It'll stay.
No, it is a real tree.
It's a real tree.
It's coming down this weekend.
But we could cover it in. We could spray paint it.
Cover it in resin. Just do like a full resin pour on it, so it's just
Exactly.
block.
Yeah, you can trick me now.
Make Carlin bigger.
No. Anyway, so yeah, it's fun. It's really fun to sort of like play around with all that and enjoy it. Recommend Twinkle Fox as an algorithm, even as a learning algorithm. If you spend a lot of time with Fast LED, I think it's really thoughtfully designed, from what I can tell. Okay. And so you all don't think I'm entirely insane.
I'm not making you full screen on that, Todd. I respect our audience too much.
Oh.
And that's actually really not saying no.
Okay. I have a new screen to share.
Uh-oh.
Oh, okay. Screw share it then.
Is it porn?
It's blue, and then it's another color. And
Share the screen.
color.
Share the screen, Barb.
It wasn't shared yet. It literally just went up.
Okay,
right.
So does that work? No.
Is this a thing that we're allowed to actually show, or we're gonna get our video?
Yeah. It's gonna get a DMCA strike.
We're gonna get a strike.
No, it won't. Like it's
Carlin, I have started streams and been singing just randomness and had it like shut me down.
All right. Well, I'll put this link in the.
Yes.
I'll send this link to. I'll put it in the private chat, and then you guys can share it. But when Todd said you could be both, the reason why I broke down about that was because of the team, and so it won't mean much to you if you haven't been watching Expanse all along.
My favorite stripper.
But it's quality. It's quality. It's quality.
Yes.
It's quality. It would be a little longer than 3 seconds. It would probably be about 3 seconds. But highly recommend. Highly recommend The Expanse. Highly recommend this moment from The Expanse.
Yes.
We will all watch it right after our stream.
Anyway,
That's it.
Sure.
This is our Friday night rave right here. And with that, have a good night, everybody. See you next week. Cheers.
Cheers.